It is now time to add the radial ornaments that run along the trim. So in this video, we will see how we can create various gemstones and put them together in this nice star shape that we have here. If we look at our graph, we see that it has become quite populated. We have the thread, the weave, the ornaments, the trim elements, and all of that comes together in this main pipe that runs in the middle and that makes up the height of our material. All right, let's get on with the gemstones. I'm going to take that space here for that. And now let's do one element at a time. We have this bead in the center, and we could start from there and use it as a sort of guide for the rest. I'm just going to take a bell shape for that, and you will soon understand why I'm choosing such a soft and fuzzy shape. Let's move it downwards using the offset slider to make sure we stay right in the center. All right. Then we have these diamond shapes. It would be interesting to see how you would approach it based on the knowledge you gathered in the previous videos. What I like personally about this shape is that there are different ways to make it, and they are all perfectly valid. I'm going to show you a few of them. The first that comes to mind for me is taking a solid square, rotating it 45 degrees, then squeezing it with the transform. Again, when I do that, the shape is repeating on both sides, and I don't want that, so do you remember how we can fix this? We go to the base parameters of the node, switch the tiling inheritance to absolute, then select none. So we now have a diamond shape, but it's completely flat, just pure white. We're missing this nice bevel you see here on the gemstones. But if I search for bevel, well, I have a node that does just that. So let's connect this. And we have a bunch of options to play with, but we're not going to worry too much about them. The most important parameter is this slider at the top. It controls the strength of the bevel, and you can decide to bevel inwards or outwards. I'm going to bevel inwards because it works best with pointy ends like that. Okay, so minus 0.2. Okay, so that was one way of creating this diamond shape, but you could do it differently, and that's what I love about Substance Designer. Let me show you how. We can keep these two steps, so I'm just going to duplicate them. But instead of going for a flat square, this time we're going to choose the pyramid shape. And you see that the pyramid is just a beveled square. Now the problem is that it's fully beveled, and so we have this point at the top, which we don't want. But we could easily flatten it using, well, levels. So you just crush the whites, and that's it. Or, third option, instead of using the well-known shape node, we could use the polygon node, which lets you create and customize polygons. You can choose how many sides it has, so let's go for 4, then rotate it. And what's cool with this node is that it comes with some sort of scan slider built in, so we can decide how much slope we want. And there you have it, 3 different ways to achieve the same result. Now let me get rid of all that. So now we need to repeat this gemstone in a circle. We already saw what node can help us with that. If we type in circular, we have the splatter circular. Let's plug our shape, switch to image input, and now it's time to think about how to achieve this kind of design. So first off, let's set the amount. Right now we have 10, but we don't need as many, so let's go for 6. Then let's scroll down to the position tab, and we have 2 important sliders here, the radius and the spread. This one is very useful because we only want a half circle, right? So if 1 is full circle, then 0.5 should fix that problem. There we go. Next up we have the size, so let's scale these diamonds up quite a lot. I'm gonna go with 4.5. We could even play with the non-uniform scaling. I think I will elongate them a little with 0.15 on the Y maybe. Now, by playing with the spread slider, we ended up with this rotation that we don't want. And you could, of course, fix that manually with the transform, just doing it this way after the fact. But generally speaking, it's good practice to first check if you have an option to do that in the node itself. And if you have a look at the different parameters of the splatter, well, it looks like we have everything we need. So let's first fix the rotation. We want to rotate the ring and not the pattern. Perfect. And I'd also like to move it downwards. So in the position tab, I should have, here we go, this global offset. Okay. Now let's place the last row of gemstones, the one that go in between here. We first need to make the shape itself, and you see that here it's not a simple square, but an actual polygon. So let's call for a polygon node, polygon 2. Let's keep the default hexagon, maybe rescale it a little. Then most importantly, flatten the top with the gradient slider. Then we have to go through the whole splatter process again, so to save time, I'm actually going to duplicate this one and fix a few things. And to see better how they both fit together, I'm going to use that blend trick again. You remember when I just compare things by lowering the opacity. Okay, let's first scale the gems down to see things better. And so what we want is to place each of these gems in that space here between the diamonds. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So we need 5 gemstones. Let's increase the radius. And there you see that the spreading is off, so we need to tighten it a little. Now it can be hard to play with very small increments like this, so if you hold Shift, it will actually slow down the scrubbing speed, and it's much easier this way, so something like 0.42. Alright, we now have the 3 parts of our ornament, all we need is to combine them. I'm gonna keep that blend here and switch it to max, reset the opacity, and then do the same for the central sphere. Okay, now you see we have a problem here. The sphere appears too large, but also its grayscale values are not really working well. Like the edges here look like they are under the other gemstones, and that's not what we want. Now take a moment to think about the different solutions we could come up with. The way I see it, we should darken that middle area here to let the bead stick out more. There's a reason why I chose a bell shape in the first place. Because it has a very soft gradient, it will be perfect in subtract mode. So let me show you. I'm going to change the blending mode to subtract. And you see that it has cleared this area, meaning I can now do another blend, this time in max mode. And you see that the subtract definitely helped. But we're not quite there yet. We still have overlap issues. And we can fix this easily with a simple levels, pushing the low values and shifting the gamma to have a flatter surface. All right, all the elements of our ornaments are in place. There's only one thing missing, and that's the mounting that goes around each gem. And to do that, we're going to rely on the edge detect node. I'm first going to deal with these parts because I want a different mounting for the beads, so let's keep them separate. Now, if we plug this into an edge detect, you see that, well, we get something interesting, but not really what we want. We just want the outline of the stones. And the reason why the edge detect is giving us this result is because it detects the grayscale variations. And so it reads the input and assigns a border to each area. For example, here is not the same as here, and so it puts an edge in between. So if we wanted to extract only the silhouette of the shape, all we would have to do is to get rid of these inner variations. And we can do that easily by adding a threshold node before the edge detect. There we go. We can now play with the threshold slider to offset the outline, which is very handy. Alright, let's invert the edge detect, thicken it a little. Now we need to refine this shape because right now it's all flat, so to help with that, I'm just going to add a blur and levels. Okay, now let's do the same for the bell. Here I'm going to take the original one to have more slope to play with, so to say. So threshold, edge detect, blur, and levels. Okay, now let's combine all this. I'm gonna add this to my bead in max mode. Maybe adjust it a little. Okay, then blend it with the rest. Then finally add the other mountings. Perfect. Now you see that we have some parts sticking out here. It's not a big problem. We can adjust the whole thing with levels. You see, like so. Okay, when I'm ready to place this and add it to our height, we will need a transform for that. Let's divide it 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe. Switch to horizontal tiling so that we have only one line. then rotate. And to place it, let's first blend it with the main connection. Max mode. All right. Let's maybe move it a little. Okay. Now it's finally time to see how it looks in 3D. So let's reroute everything. Now, the resolution is definitely a limitation here, but we can already start to make a few adjustments. For example, I think the top gems are too small, so let's go back to fix this. Play with the levels. Tweak some of the thresholds. Like so. Okay, let's also check the result in 4K because it needs to work at both resolutions. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with it. And this wraps up our video on ornament creation. We learned how to create gemstones and how to assemble them using advanced nodes like the splatter circular. Our height is now mostly done, so in the next video we will see how we can extract useful masks from it in order to tackle the color and the roughness.